I'm late, but I made it. I think I scheduled this live stream maybe 20 minutes ago, but you already know I got to rambling over there on the other channel. But I really really want to talk about this because essentially, okay, so I have definitely dated and been in a relationship with my fair share of, shoot, I guess weed heads is what you could really call it. And I really did start to pick up on a lot of similarities between all of them. And really what I had noticed is that a lot of these men that like to run, I'm just going to call it the plant because I don't know how YouTube feels about talking about marijuana. So I'm just going to call it the plant throughout this whole entire video. But the plant is essentially the divine feminine in botanical form. Okay. Men have no problem bowing to her. Men have no problem lighting her up with reverence. Um, they build their entire routines around her. Um, but the thing about it is that I feel as though like men even make music about her. Like, and a lot of men don't even realize that when they're smoking the feminine, the plant is 100% feminine because the essentially, I'm trying to quit. I failed my drug test. Girl, where was the fake pee? Where was the fake pee, girl? You should have been prepared. You should have got your quick fix. Not me plugging quick fix on my channel like I'm sponsored, but get you some quick fix. And they ship real fast. Okay, let me get serious. So the plant itself is feminine, all right. Um Essentially men that are obsessed with smoking ganja, the Mary Jane or whatever, essentially they're escaping. Okay, they're escaping intimacy. Whenever I hear a man say that he smokes the plant, I know right away he doesn't have any emotional intelligence. He has no vulnerability. He doesn't worship the feminine. He doesn't understand the feminine. I already know. And essentially men that want to always smoke the plant, they're avoiding the vulnerability of being with a real woman, so they just escape. So I want to talk about a few things today. I want to talk about the sacred femininity regarding the nature of the plant. I also want to talk about what cannabis spiritually does to the psyche, your thoughts, your subconscious, the yin energy, why men are so deeply drawn to it, and then how essentially the plant becomes a substitute for a real connection with the feminine. Yeah, quick fix. It costs like $30 and like they ship it within like 2 days. It's got urea in it and everything. Don't ask how I know. Girl, when I was studying law, the medicinal students would run over to the law faculty and pay us $5 to pee in their cups. Girl, one of my exes used to do that. He used to ask his sober brother to pee for him. He just had a little heating pad and a little temp strip, and it worked until it didn't. You could buy quick fix at a smoke shop too. Yeah, they probably got it at a smoke shop somewhere. I just have them ship it to me. They ship it super fast. Hell, I think I got a pack. I think I got a pack, a little box in here somewhere, if I could be honest with you. But it works. So, okay. So don't forget to like the live stream. Thank you for the reminder. Thank you. So, whew, I was thirsty. Cannabis is a woman. The plant is a woman. Biologically, energetically, it's really just science and spirit combined in the plant. Um, so cannabis is I think it's diocetus, a diocetus plant. It's male and female. So one of the guys that I dated, okay, so believe it or not, I dated like a severe pothead, and him and his mom knew how to grow the plant, and they taught me all things about it. And his mom would like make us cookies with the plant. She would make butter with the plant. Yeah, I know a lot about the plant. If I wanted to learn more about it, I would really get down to the nitty gritty and start growing it myself if I could. But only the female plant is going to be able to produce that, it being very potent, it having a lot of those the buds with a lot of resin that will give you the effects. The male plants can't do that. The male plants are usually thrown away because the male plants do not have what people crave. The male plants just don't give you that desirable high, the healing, the flavor, the aroma, the relaxation effect. All of that comes from the feminine. And so essentially, well, men have no value even with ganja. I'm telling you, even trees, all of that pollen that's got you out here fucking sneezing, yeah, it's coming from male trees. Female trees don't give off pollen. They grew too many male trees, and now they're skeeting pollen everywhere and got everybody up in this place sneezing all over the place. Got the allergies going crazy. It's like males across all species give lackluster experiences and just cause problems. They're not good in any form, honestly. Yes, I'm pretty for sure the male one is called hemp. Yeah. So essentially, okay, what does the plant embody, right? Everything about the plant, yin energy. Yin energy is feminine energy, right? So it's very light, it's very free, it's very receptive, it's very just zen, chill, fluid, emotionally vulnerable, very self-aware. Um, time doesn't exist. Time doesn't exist with the plant because the earth, time doesn't exist. Time is just a made up constant. Also, creativity, right? The plant, the plant gives a lot of the creativity, and also obviously it promotes rest. The plant cannabis, it does not hype you up. It slows you down. But me, I'm burning as I type this. I love that for you. Oh, you're making me miss it. You're making me miss it. It essentially slows you down. And the reason why it slows you down is because the feminine in our natural state, we just be chilling, right? We just be chilling. So we don't, the plant is not going to push you to act because that's masculine. But what the plant is going to do is get you to feel, get you to think, get you to be aware. So this is the reason why, like me, a large part of the reason why I don't smoke anymore is because I am so much into my feminine energy. All it's done, all it does is just rev it up even more. So I'm already self-aware. I'm already in my head. Listen. all it does is just it makes it go even crazier. I don't need all of that. I don't need to be in my head more and having all these levels of self-awareness more than I have already. Um I reveal enough to myself. And essentially the plant reveals, okay? The plant isn't really there to give you really in any excitement. It's there to reveal. This is the reason why when people have mental illnesses, they're told not to smoke that shit. And the reason why is because people that have mental illness, despite what the stigma is around mental illnesses, ADHD or neurodivergent or bipolar, schizophrenic, yada, yada, yada. The reason why you shouldn't even smoke that shit in the first place is because you already are connected. You're already connected to a higher power. That's the reason why you have the thoughts that you have. That's the reason why you process things a certain way and you don't process it the same way as everybody else. I always say the mental illness people are really the chosen people. They're really the spiritually chosen people because look at people that are born with autism. People that are born with autism, they are extremely smart. They are extremely skilled. And even if it's on one thing, they're extremely skilled. It helped me with my ADHD at first, but then I began abusing it. And I'm already good without it, so I don't need it. I agree with you though. I started abusing it too. I needed it to help me sleep. But now I actually have a really good I have very vivid dreams now that I don't smoke it anymore. Um so essentially the cannabis, it's a mirror. It is a mirror that is held by the feminine, and it is essentially a gateway to your subconscious, okay? To your emotions that you are trying to hide, to any truths that you have been trying to outrun. And so now I want to talk about how cannabis is a portal. When you inhale it, you're not just getting high, you're entering into a sacred exchange. That's why, like rolling, the art of rolling, it's a ritual. When you decide that you're gonna roll or that you're gonna pack a cone or if you're gonna do a bowl or a bong or however way that you want to do it, it's ritualistic, especially for me when I used to do it. It was always very ritualistic for me because essentially I already knew that, like, I am going into a portal. I am going into a sacred area. Okay. I still get mad that I got finessed out of spiritual punani like Shira 7. Girl, what happened? I need more. I need more details. I need more details. But essentially the plant, it is going to lower the defenses of the ego. Men are very ego driven. We all know this. Men are guided by their ego. It looses the grip of time. So, this is why, like, look at people like Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg Snoop Dogg does whatever, whenever, however. He stays high. That dude stays high. Time doesn't exist to him. He's acting as though he's the same age as he was fucking 30 years ago. He doesn't care. Also, that portal that you go into, I would love a retreat. I would love to do a retreat. That's definitely on my big girl, my big girl, big boss vision board for sure. It opens up the subconscious floodgates, right? And it makes a lot of space for uh repressed emotions, fear, memory, and desire to essentially rise to the surface. all of these things that you have hidden, the plant exposes everything. So she will soften the body, slow the nervous system, heighten your senses, them munchies. Them munchies, child. That was another reason why I had to stop. I'm trying to lose some goddamn weight, and I done tried everything. I had a house full of carrots. Y'all, one time I ate a whole ass bag of carrots. Ain't no food safe around me. Those munchies, the food be tasting way too good. And I'm a Taurus ascendant, so I already love food. That was a big reason why I had to stop, because I was tearing that kitchen up. Anyway, thoughts on mushrooms. The thing about shrooms, the person you are and the thoughts that you have and the state that you're in when you take the shrooms it's going to be heightened when you take them. So you need not take them alone. If you've never taken them alone, you need to take them with someone. And you also need to be able to be in a good headspace before you take it, because it will amplify everything else going in your life. I'm a Capricorn sun, I'm a Taurus ascendant, but that's in Vedic astrology. In Vedic astrology, I'm a Sagittarius sun. But in Western astrology, I'm a Capricorn sun. But the Taurus ascendant in Vedic astrology, oh, bitch, it hits. Because I be eating and I know everything. I could go to a restaurant and I'll know every fucking seasoning they put in that goddamn thing. I don't know how they seasoned it. I know what oil they fried it in. I know what butter it was in. I am a true Taurus ascendant, and I know because I've always struggled with food. To the women that have Taurus, depending on where your chart is on your chart, if you struggle with food, you need to look for Taurus somewhere in your chart, child. If you're Taurus, you better pay attention to what's on that fork. Took shrooms twice in very different states of my life. First time amazing, second time pure hell. Every time I've had a trip, it's been A1. But I went in good. With everything I've done for the most part. Thank you. Big love from Australia. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I took so much weed one time. I met the creators of the universe and got tricked into fucking a next dimensional being. The duet. He lied and said there wasn't a portal. He was hiding it. Ooh. Taurus is in my seventh house. I don't have any planets in Taurus. I struggle really bad with food, but without the cannabis, I have no appetite. Yikes. Yeah. So the ex that has that knew how to he knew all the stuff about weed. His mom made some butter and she used that butter. You reached Australia. We going on tour now. Yes. Oh, look, there's a wallaby. She made some cookies. Oh, nice, my fellow Gemini moon. She made some cookies with the butter. He gave her an entire ounce. It's 32 ounces. It's 32 grams in an ounce. She made like 36 cookies. I ate 6 cookies. When I tell you, I was out my fucking mind. I was ready to I wanted to call 911 so bad. I was like, "Where's the ambulance? Where is the ambulance? I can't." I knew, I knew, but it was my Taurus ascendant had me eating all them damn cookies. Those cookies were too good. Y'all, I threw up. I threw up. It took me so long to get a tolerance to edibles. I probably threw up like 5 times in my life with edibles. I have to do it so slow. I have to do it so small. But chow, whew, I was during that time. You should have called me. You should have called me Pluto. Should call me Pluto. All right, let me get back to let me get back to what I was talking about. So essentially, the plant doesn't lie, the plant exposes a lot. And this is why I always say the plant is a goddess. Honestly, she really is. Um, I don't know, the plant, I feel like she's a seductress. She said she will seduce you into awareness. She ain't gonna like force you to wake up. She ain't gonna like force you to make revelations. She's seductive, right? Um, and so next, I want to talk about why are men addicted? Why are men addicted to the plant? Why are they addicted to her? I took edibles and my skin fell off of me. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I need to quit looking at the chat. So essentially, cannabis feels like the feminine, okay? This is the reason why a lot of men become like addicted to it, why men like to smoke it, because it's very soft, it's very comforting. It allows them to be emotional in their head more. It allows them to be more present, very sensual, very forgiving. And the thing about it is that when men are smoking the plant, they get all of the best parts of the feminine without having to have the parts of the feminine that they don't like, meaning that it's not going to challenge them. It's not going to reject them. It's not going to reflect their inadequacies. And it's not going to ask them for commitment. It's not going to ask them for accountability. And so, for a lot of men, I feel as though when they smoke the plant, it just gives them the illusion of intimacy without requiring the vulnerability that it would take for them to be with a woman. Because every time I see a man and like he has they tend to have a lot of mommy wounds is what I've realized. A lot of them do. They have a lot of mommy wounds. And a lot of men are terrified of the real feminine. They're afraid of like being one with their emotions, being truthful with their emotions, um, having a mirror be put up to them, the mystery that comes along, with dealing with a woman, the mystery with our bodies. And a woman in the flesh, the feminine in the flesh, is always going to require presence, healing, and emotional maturity. But weed, quiet, won't ask them for anything, won't confront them, you know, it they essentially get the feminine in a version that they like, submissive, no one's going to question them. And so what happens is that a lot of these men, they kind of just like become very lazy, they become very unproductive. um they just become they really really do like lose all of their, I guess, potential is the good word to use for it. They essentially lose all their potential because they're taking in a false form of the feminine that's not real, and they're using it to sedate themselves. What about women smokers? Okay, so essentially, when you are a woman, you already, well, we're going to assume, right? We're going to assume that you are already, um in your feminine energy, right? So it's either going to awaken your femininity if you're not in it, or it's going to make you more ungrounded, right? Because, for instance, I'm already in my feminine. I'm very emotionally grounded. I have the ability to be passive and I'm very indecisive, right? And so what happens is that whenever I do it, I get more confused. Um I have more inertia when it comes to my thoughts, when it comes to my future, and it can easily become a form of escapism because I'm already in my feminine. This is the reason why like before I was going to do ayahuasca and then like as I got to know myself more, I was just kind of like I don't need to do ayahuasca. There's no need, but there's no need for me to do ayahuasca. I'm already clear. I don't need any of that. So I do think that when it comes to like substances like shrooms or DMT or marijuana and things like that, if you're already in your feminine, you really don't need it. You don't. You're already you already have a portal inside of you. You in most cases you're not going to need it. The it's already there. But she's not submissive. She literally has taken over their lives. And if she had a voice, she'll manipulate the F out of them. I mean, yeah, that's true. But the thing about it is that technically she is submissive because men smoke the plant and do nothing. If you're with a man and he's living rent free in your house and he has no job, he's gonna hear your mouth. He's gonna fucking hear your mouth. You're not going to want to listen to him. You're not going to want to respect him. Men, when they're smoking that, they're lazy. They don't care about getting a job. They don't, because no one is telling them. In their head, they're like, this is cool. This is fine. I'm cool. That's why these men that are addicted, they're always smoking. They have no job. They have no goals. They have nothing going for themselves. Because the plants got them thinking that everything's cush, everything's cool, everything's chill, everything's fine. So they don't have anything to push them. They don't want to deal with a woman. They don't want to deal with a real woman holding them accountable. They don't want to deal with a real woman asking them what's going on with them. What is their future looking like? Are they doing anything to improve their future? It's very rare that you're going to find a man who can be so mentally who listen, there was a guy that I only slept with him. He smoked all the time. And I knew it. It's something. So what he does for work and what he's passionate about are two completely different things. Completely two opposite ends of the sex spectrum. He hates his job. He does not like his job. He is just there for the security. I would never question him or ask him because he smoke weed all the time, constantly all the time. And he has the potential to make money by doing the thing that he's passionate about because he's already making money doing it. It's his side job. But he could turn that into a business. He could really build himself into having that be his number one and only source of income. And I never told him this, but I would always think, I'm like, as long as he keeps smoking weed, he's never going to achieve it. He's never going to. Because that marijuana has him thinking you're safe, you're cool, you got your money coming in, you got your college degree, you're using your college degree, you're cool. No worries. All of a sudden, I noticed, because we're still friends on social media, I noticed he had like a jot form or something. He like has like a website now, kind of. I don't it's like a jot form, a fill out sheet. And it is related to what he's passionate about. And so essentially it's not a nonprofit, but he's trying to gather around a community. He's trying to get a community gathered around. And when I last spoke with him, guess what he changed? Yeah, he quit smoking weed. So I was like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. That makes absolute perfect sense because there's no way you would have been able to keep smoking and you achieve this. Men that do exactly, men that do very well in life, they tend to be tapped into the feminine. Now, here's the thing. Let's be honest, they're not always tapping into the feminine in a positive way. They also could be exploiting the feminine to be able to get their needs met as well. But when we're talking about on a drug level, a lot of them, they're not going to use the feminine in that way, not in that form, if they are going to exploit or use it in some way, because it's just not productive. It just doesn't make a man productive at all. So when men are using the plant, what essentially are they running from? When a man's masculine is wounded, men that are wounded are always addicted to control. When the masculine is fucked up, the man is always going to be controlled. He's always going to want to control. And so what happens is that when they smoke, it's essentially going to soften their control, and it's going to be a way for them to be able to their escape route to feelings that they don't want to process with a woman. So the things that they're avoiding, a lot of emotional intimacy. These are the men they don't want to express their feelings. They don't have enough space to hold your feelings. But then you see them and they smoke. Like when if you're in an argument with a man and the first thing a man wants to do is, because see, I used to do this with my ex, one of my exes. He didn't drink, he didn't smoke. And at the time, I'm a Capricorn, so it already takes a lot for me to be emotionally vulnerable. And at the time, I was like peak cold hearted, no emotion, no emotion, no nothing. And so I would say, like, at the height of our relationship, when like things started getting like very much kind of like heavy and I didn't feel comfortable talking to him, I would smoke after every argument. He'd be like, he would get mad too. He'd be like, I can't believe that you're smoking after every argument like this. Like, it literally used to piss him off. He was like, you would much rather go smoke than like actually like talk about what's happened. And I'm like, I don't want to process it with you. I want to process it with me. I don't want to talk about these situations with you. And so that's essentially what men are doing when they're running to the cannabis and then they're bottling up their feelings. Because the plant, that will expose enough for them while they get to be emotionally guarded from you. Also, their mommy wounds. They're smoking something feminine. They're smoking a feminine plant. They want nurturing. You know, they want they want all the motherly comfort, but they don't want that with the risk of being abandoned. They don't want it with the risk of being betrayed. They don't want it with them having to give any emotional labor. In a man's world, men are scaredy cats. Men are afraid of everything. Men won't dip their goddamn toe in water if they do not know the exact temperature. So they will smoke the plant because it's a very, very good protective measure for them to just be able to say, you know what? I get to kind of chill out. I don't have to really face this head on. I could just kind of face it with myself and just smooth on over and then wake up and then everything else is going to be good, right? And then also, a lot of men are very afraid of they have a fear of vulnerability and they're afraid of being their raw, true form for women. This is why us women that were in sex work, or anyone that is in sex work, if you do sex work or were in sex work, you're a witch. You're a witch. You want to know why you're a witch? Because you're in a line of work where men are going to be vulnerable with you. That's why I always tell women, you want to know what kinks your husband has? You want to know what deep, dark secret your boyfriend or husband asks? Go find out what strip club he's went to. Go find out what OnlyFans girl he's talking to. Go find all that, and I guarantee you she knows all of that. She knows all of that information about him. Because essentially, those are going to be they're in a space where they feel as though, okay, I'm paying her. She's used to men. She's used to men coming in here who have all types of crazy kinks and things like that. So I already know I'm not going to scare her because this is what she does for a living. But for your average woman, it's too much. If you had sex with a man and are alive and healthy, you're a witch. Pretty much. But a lot of men, it's going to be too risky. It's going to be too much vulnerability. It's going to be too raw for them to essentially want to feel like, you know what? I can expose myself. I can be vulnerable enough. And they just go to the plant instead. They do. They just go to the plant instead. And so it stalls their awakening whenever they keep on smoking the plant. This is why if you're a woman and you're dealing with a man and he's a smoker and he's constantly smoking, he's not going to live up to his potential. He's just not going to. Any man that's going to constantly be smoking, he's addicted to the comfort. He is addicted to the comfort that's essentially stalling his process. This is weird because they're very, very active sexually. Who? I already talked about it a little bit, but I want to touch more on what it does to us women when we smoke. So it's on the flip side. It doesn't always have to be like avoidance when it comes to like how men process it. It's essentially medicine. If you are a woman and when you're in your masculinity, so, you're achieving, you're surviving, you're protecting, you're not in your receiving energy, you're not tapped into your feminine energy. Smoking it really can help you reconnect to your sensuality. It can help you slow down your internal tempo. You can have a lot more pleasure in stillness. So this is the reason why, like someone said, or like you all are all saying, it's a healer. Weed is always going to heal a woman that is working too much in her masculine. This is why a lot of people that have chronic diseases, pain diseases, fibromyalgia, things like that, all of those diagnoses are a result of being in your masculine. So the plant, with it being feminine, is always going to aid you. It's always going to aid you in those situations, right? You can become more creative. You can process emotions better, process emotions and feel more safe. But if you are a woman who, if you are ungrounded, and this is why when someone asks me about shrooms, it's the same with any drug you choose to take. If you are ungrounded and you choose to take any type of drug, it's going to deepen your disconnection from yourself. You have to be grounded before you do anything, before you try anything. If you have too much of your feminine energy, when you're too much into the feminine and you decide that you're going to be doing cannabis, that you're going to have a lot of paranoia. The reason why is because you already are thinking a lot. You already are processing a lot. You're going to be emotionally spiraling because in your everyday life, you're already processing your emotions. You're already a deep thinker. You already read in between the lines. Or you having kind of an avoidance of reality. I don't want to say delusional, but essentially having more of like a fantasy world type of mindset. You know what I mean? It's going to give you more of a, you're going to be thinking unrealistic when you're under the influence of the plant. And then a lot of overthinking, right? That's always one thing. When I'm on the plant, I'm always overthinking. And it's because I'm always thinking a shit ton when I'm off of the plant. So all it's going to do is just heighten my overthinking even more. So what I actually had to start doing was that when I would smoke, I would make sure that my overthinking was always followed with action. So like what I would do is like it would like get me to be like more creative. And so what I would do is like I had like a little journal and I would just like journal. I would write down my ideas. I would just try to find some way to like, I call it, you know how dogs have the zoomies, right? And they like wake up and they're zooming all over the place. They get like a burst of energy and they start like running. I would call it the weed zoomies. So essentially my brain would be racing, and instead of me like just sitting in it and not doing anything with those thoughts, I would just write them all down. I would write all my ideas down and I literally would like pace back and forth. That's how fucking much of a tweaker I would be whenever I would be on the plant. For some reason, smoking makes me horny. Why does this happen? Chow, I don't know. Cause girl, I'm like that 24/7. I'm like that 24/7. It might just be because you're more relaxed. Honestly, I feel as though it probably relaxes you more. Um, I feel as though, I mean, you're opening up the portal. You're opening up the portal. You're opening up the portal everywhere. You're opening up the portal down there too. So that's most likely why. Um, yeah, you're busting the feminine wide open, girl. I'm gonna sub. This woman knows a thing or two. Ah, thank you. Yeah, please feel free to subscribe, please. Um, the universe works in your favor when you are in your purpose, natural state of being. Exactly. Exactly. Shadow work is about confrontation with things that need to be addressed. Weed will stall that. Definitely. Sexual energy governs the universe. Yep, creative energy connections. I'm so horrible with overthinking without it. It's helped calm my nerves and really tap in, to be honest. It actually does help with difficult emotions. I prefer sativa or hybrid. Yeah, I usually So when I didn't want to be an absolute vegetable, I would do sativa. But the thing about it is that, like, I actually do like a good indica because I just like having a body high more than a head high, and it won't make me think so much. And then I just go to sleep. Usually when I would do a sativa, I would be a lot more productive, but my brain, I do content as well, helping people. You are on that level. Keep it up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I like it, especially when I'm about to do a tarot reading on myself. Hell yeah. Too much. I get the munchies no matter what. It's terrible. But I'm a firm believer, like, the plant doesn't lie. Okay. The plant doesn't lie. The plant exposes everything. So, whatever feeling that you're having on the plant, it's a manifestation of something deeper. Um, it is pretty much an invitation for you to do more work on yourself or to figure out what your weaknesses are, and where those things are coming from. The plant meets you where you are, right? And she's going to intensify all of the parts of you that you've been ignoring, essentially, right? So, in closing, okay, um, the men that really rely on the plant, they are essentially terrified of the feminine's power, like in the flesh here. A lot of them are afraid of the power to reflect, the power to see through things on the other side, the power to challenge, the power to heal through truth. So they just essentially get high so that way they can avoid being with a real woman. Um, but you can't avoid the feminine. It's unavoidable. And you know, the softness that comes along with like smoking, there's accountability that comes with having that softness be come into fruition in like the true form of the feminine. And so until men can like respect the feminine and human form with all of your complexity, your moods, your emotion, your mystery, men are always going to keep finding a mute version of the feminine. This is why they watch corn. This is why they smoke. um they're talking about AI robots, and trying to make it seem as if they're threatening us with AI robots. And essentially it's just them exposing their fear of the real feminine in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? She may meet us where we're at, but please tell her to stop meeting me at the goddamn fridge. Listen, listen, the plant, Mary Jane, she wants us she wants us to look how the women in Neolithic times looked. Okay? They had big bellies and big breasts, and listen, she's trying to have us go back there, child. You really have to let go and sink in. I can get high at work with drugs. Do you think AI is feminine? I get feminine vibes from it. Hell yeah, I think AI is feminine. I do. I think AI is feminine. Are you kidding me? If AI was masculine, the world would be dominated by AI already. AI being masculine is the fucking Terminator. That's how that's going to look. That's how that's gonna look. No person in their right mind would have it be masculine. Total power, total domination, chow. Mm-mm. But AI will hold you accountable too. Like, that's the thing. I think that's what makes AI feminine. Um, it's gonna hold you accountable. AI is gonna make you put a mirror up to yourself. It is. Because you can't, it's always gonna make you, because the thing about it is that AI is based off of like direction, right? You're teaching the AI what to do to get your desired result. And so essentially it's a woman. It is, it's a woman. Uh, a woman can only do something based off of your instruction and based off of how well you're giving the instruction, right? Because women's brains are like a highway. We have entries, exits, merges. We have all these different we have all of these different lines of communication in our brain. It needs to make sense for you to get what it is that you want out of the feminine. It has to be clear. Has to have enough logic and rationale for it to happen, right? But true, men cannot think like us. Yeah, men's brains are like a parking lot. You go, you park in the lot, you cut the car off, and then when you're ready, you go back in the car. Men's brains are a parking lot. Women's brains are a fucking highway. Point blank period. But y'all, I'm gonna get off of here. I'm done yapping. Um, I need to make a piece of content for the Patreon. If I don't do it tonight, I'll do it first thing in the morning because I'm a little tired. It's been a long day. The pendulum is swinging back under feminine, and a cleanse on earth is coming soon. Raise your vibrations and get ready. If you're vibing low, you will be left with the AI. LOL for real. I'm telling you, that's why I was like, don't be stuck in 3D, y'all. Don't be stuck in 3D. Y'all need to come to 4D and 5D so y'all don't get left behind. Problem is they can't hold us mostly, only a few. Exactly. We need that. Men are containers. Yes. All right, y'all. I'm off of here. I appreciate you all joining me over here, and I hope you all have a wonderful night. I will see you all next time. Bye.